Hello and welcome to Some of My Friends Read Comics. We've got Vince.
You begged me not to, but I volunteered for medical experiment for resisting truth serums.
We got Chris.
You stupid morons. I was never part of this podcast.
No, Chris. What? He's a traitor. He's been working against us all along. Oh, no.
We've been podcasting for 112 episodes, and he's now revealed himself as a Judas.
Just now revealed himself. Wow. I had no idea. I didn't see it coming.
Every time someone was going to like and subscribe, I was like, don't do it.
Maybe regular fans of the show might have seen all the hints that we dropped along the way. All those other scenes that take place after the main podcast where Chris is talking to his boss in the shadows about all the evil, nefarious things he's going to do. Okay, enough of that. We're talking about some Teen Titans today. It is the Judas contract. Why did we choose this for today? It's kind of a classic story, right?
I was literally on my DC Universe app saying, like, I need to read a DC story for this. And they came up as something I hadn't read before, so I figured, why not? And I think Titans Season 2 just started up on DC Universe.
Yeah. Yes, I think it did, but that's a service no one has except you. So.
I have it, but I don't watch any of the TV shows on it. Although I hear the Swamp Thing was good. So
I should clarify. It almost sounded like you said Titus Season 2. Yes. Is starting up again.
Oh yeah, Christopher Titus.
We're talking about Titan.
Yeah,
we're not talking about that old Fox show Titus, which was great, but no, we are talking about the new Teen Titans, and Tales of the Teen Titans and the Teen Titans Annual. You know, these comics, they change their names. It doesn't matter. But we're talking about Teen Titans number 42 through 44, and then the Teen Titans Annual number 3, was it? Yeah, great. Yeah. Which is the Judas contract story. I was reading from the trade that also included 39 through 41. We said we had an option to read 39 through 41, and I kind of skimmed through them. We'll talk about them. Chris, you did the same. You read them?
Yeah, I skipped through them, and I also did a little bit of the backstory before this storyline to see where Terra was introduced and all of that.
Gotcha.
And cool. I watched the Judas Contract movie, or at least part of it, the animated movie, which is not on the DC Universe app. It's on Hulu. Go figure.
Okay. All right. So we've got a little bit of a different perspective coming into this, I guess. And Chris, you said you had read the Judas Contract before, or no?
No, I haven't. I was familiar with it. I've read Teen Titans, the first 20 or so issues, but then I kind of fell off it, and Terra is not introduced until issue 30. So, but I know what happens.
Yeah, and Vince, you hadn't read it before?
No.
Didn't know what happened?
I did not. I mean, Judas implies some type of traitor, and we can get into it based on the first issue. I don't know. So Terra's been around. Who's the traitor? I guess we can come out and say has been around for about a year in this,
right?
A year in real time.
Kind of get into. Yeah, like I started with the trade that I was reading, which had an introduction. This is by Marv Wolfman and George Perez. Marv Wolfman did this intro where I thought I was getting spoilers, and he's like, yeah, basically Tara's the spy. She's been on the team for a while. I'm like, wait, what? But like the audience knows this. We see all these scenes of Tara talking to her boss, Deathstroke, kind of along the way, especially these lead-up issues, 39 through 41, where it's just very well known that she is a spy. And I thought that was very interesting, just letting the audience in on it and not trying to do some big, massive reveal. And Chris, maybe you can speak to when she was actually introduced. How quickly did the audience find out that she was a spy?
It's not right away, but it's within, I think it's issue 34 or 35. She learns the Titans' identities. Deathstroke, I knew they'd finally tell me, and then there were hints earlier where like she was being held captive by terrorists who made her fight Beast Boy appearance, and then like they go to, she's like, oh no, they were holding my family hostage, and then they show up and like her family is dead, and like there's holes in her story right away. They're like, why didn't you ever try to escape, or do anything? And she's like, I don't want to talk about that.
Yeah, she's also built up as being insanely powerful. Her name, we should get into like her. Her name is Tara Markov. Tara, like Tara, but her superhero name is Terra, like Terra, because she has Earth powers. If you've seen Avatar, the Last Airbender, not the movie, the cartoon, maybe the movie too, I don't know.
The Last Airbender.
But reminds me. Yeah, reminds me of the Earthbender powers, whose name was probably Terra. I feel like Terra is a good name for an Earth-based hero person.
Yeah.
Terra has been working with them for a while, and Night just goes back to Deathstroke, aka the Terminator, aka Deathstroke the Terminator.
Yes, who we saw, we previously read for this show, Teen Titans, and we were introduced to Deathstroke and his son, who died.
The Ravager.
Yes.
Did we know at the time that was Deathstroke's son? I don't remember.
I think we knew, but I know the Titans didn't know.
Yeah, okay.
So we know a lot more just consistently than our characters.
Yeah. Also, we should mention Deathstroke's name, Slade Wilson, the inspiration for Wade Wilson. They call him by a lot of those names throughout the whole thing.
He's voiced by Wade Wilson, or not Wade Wilson. He's voiced by Will. He's voiced by Will Arnett in the Teen Titans Go movie.
Yes, BoJack Horseman himself.
That's funny. Okay. We've got okay, let's kind of jump into these lead-up issues, though. 39 is kind of the most important one, where there is a little bit of a shake-up within the group. Kid Flash decides to quit. He's like, I just kind of got to find my own way, go back to school or something. Robin also... this scene reminds me of, like, the doctor from Arrested Development, who just, like, says things like, oh, we lost him. Oh, no, we really did lose him. Robin is saying stuff like... I can't go on being Robin anymore, blah, 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 that kind of thing. And they're like, oh, my God, are you quitting? He's like, no, why would you think that? I didn't say that.
Don't call me Robin anymore.
Yeah,
that's not my name.
He's just not sure. Like, why would you think that? Just because this other guy just quit being Flash and quit the group? Come on, man. But he doesn't know who he wants to be, hasn't figured out his new identity yet. He just knows that Robin was, like, Batman's sidekick, and he's like, nah, I got to figure out my own path. And he says, I'm going to be Dick Grayson for now. I'm figuring this out. Donna Troy, you got to be the new leader. So our Teen Titans team right now is Donna Troy. We got Dick Grayson. We've got Raven. We've got Changeling, who I will probably call Beast Boy at some point during the show, because that's the that is more familiar to me.
Yep.
We've got Cyborg. We've got Starfire. And we have the Traitor Terra.
Yep.
And I feel like this is not any of their story. This is more of a Deathstroke story than I expected it to be, compared to anybody else. Like, none of the other Titans really get much of a spotlight. Like, Dick Grayson, he's kind of the main hero character. Terra's got a lot of stuff going on. And there's Deathstroke. And they're kind of like the three main characters, right?
Yeah, and I guess maybe Changeling, but he kind of disappears from the story for a while.
Yeah. Like these other issues, there's not much else going on. They're fighting Brother Blood, who is it's like a story about politics and religion, my two favorite things. Great. So I skipped right through those. Yeah.
Okay,
it's really just like kind of a... Go ahead.
Well, because I didn't read these particular issues, and so I watched the Judas Contract movie, and there was a lot of Brother Blood, and I'm like, what is this? This has nothing to do with what I read. So I'm like, okay, well, this checks out now. It's before.
Interesting. Okay. Yeah, but it's also such a like non-important story to like include in the movie. It's like just a random build-up story right before stuff starts.
I think it's supposed to establish that Terra, in the movie at least, it was to establish Terra, who the audience probably wasn't familiar with, was like part of the team before she betrayed them. If that makes any sense.
That's fair.
Sure. And you're absolutely right. Like, the team is not the same that it is in the comics and the movie. It's still Starfire and Robin, but he's Nightwing already, and but then it's like Blue Beetle, like Jaime, Blue Beetle, and Damian Robin's on the team. It's a weird team, and there's no Cyborg.
Ew.
It's weird.
That's awkward. If you want a good Blue Beetle Jaime story, you got to watch some Young Justice.
Yeah.
Some good stuff with him in there.
Also on the DC Universe app. But yeah, I think that movie basically took the concept of like we're gonna have a team member betray them, and we're gonna and we'll have Deathstroke there, and we'll have Brother Blood for like the opening act. That's interesting though.
And okay, so in the movie, did they reveal kind of within that beginning opening act that Tara was a villain?
That was kind of the act. That was kind of the act end. It was Damian kind of figured her out, and then and then she started fighting Damian, and he's like, "Why are you fighting me?" And then Deathstroke showed up, and also Tara and Deathstroke were dating.
That does happen in the comics as well. Deathstroke and Tara were kind of heavily implied they're just like fucking around just for fun, and also that Tara is super crazy and just kill things.
And also, the Tara is 16 years old, so
that came up at the very end. I was like, what? And Deathstroke is like 80. I'm like, what is going on here?
He's not 80, but he's like 50.
He's very this is not okay. Okay, so on to like the main now. Tales of the Teen Titans number 42. It's wintertime. Everybody's having fun. Ice skating, yeah. And parents are coming back. Changeling and Tara share a little kiss. He's like, yeah, we're on the team together. I'm gonna get a new girlfriend on the team. This is great. But throughout this whole thing, it's really nice. Throughout this whole... Go ahead.
I love Perez's art at this point. This feels like the X-Men going at the same time, but it's very much... and Harry Potter 3 is my first example of this for me personally, is the heroes in like regular clothes. So like Cyborg's got his like cyborg stuff on, but then he also has like a sweater and like ice skates, and it's very cute. I like the art design of this. Like it's not just everybody just in their costumes because they wouldn't be in their costumes. And I think Teen Titans does a good job of this.
He is a cyborg, Vince. He can't just stop being a cyborg.
Yeah, but I feel like in any other comic, he would be like half naked cyborg, like out in the snow.
Right. His like pantsless outfit.
Right.
Vince, it's funny that you compare this to X-Men as well, because in the intro that that Marv Wolfman wrote, he was like, boy, everybody compared my addition of a new character to the team to the X-Men and how they just introduced Shadowcat to the team. And, like, look, we were doing something different. We're not like the X-Men because reasons. And not like the X-Men. Yeah. I was doing my own thing.
Yeah. And the X-Men had never done a story where they fight a group of weirdos in S&M outfits, and then one of their members betrays them. Wait, that was literally Dark Phoenix Saga. We just did it.
They did a lot of times remind me of the Hellfire Club, the way that they were like looking all fancy, hanging out together. Yeah.
Brother Blood's group definitely reminds me of the Hellfire Club.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff that reminds me of the X-Men as we're going through this, but it's okay. I'll take Wolfman's word for it. This isn't the X-Men.
Yeah, it's just other young adults having soap opera relationships, like Cyborg's dating this teacher, and so he's out like ice skating with them, and he's being all gruff. And then Donna Troy is like at her photo studio with Starfire and her crappy fiance.
Wait, who's Starfire's?
Starfire's dating Dick, but Donna Troy's crappy.
Donna Troy, yeah.
Her crappy fiance is Terry Long. He's the guy in the yellow sweater. That he doesn't do anything in this story, but he's a adjunct professor who's been divorced, who started dating Donna, and now they're engaged. And it's like Donna, again, she's like 19 or 20 at this point.
They are the Teen Titans. Engaged. They are still Teen Titans in my world.
And do you automatically stop being a Teen Titan when you turn 20?
That's why Wally had to quit.
Yeah, I think that's why they call it Titans, just to get past that. Sometimes the Titans.
They weren't being written as teens in this book at all, other than they say new is.
Okay. Yeah, they don't feel like teenagers.
No, but but Donna Troy, even as a very young adult, I wouldn't think she's old enough to drink, and she's engaged to a former professor or adjunct professor who's already been divorced once, and it's just kind of a lame character. Like he definitely There's a little bit of author insert where he's just like, well, I'm just so lucky to be dating this hot woman who's awesome. I'm just a regular guy. My writing career is not taking off. And it's like, he sucks.
Poor thing. Throughout all this, we're getting a lot of shots from like inside Tara's eye. She's got a camera inside of her eyes where Slade can see everything that that she's seeing. So that's how he's getting all these secrets. And then most of the rest of this issue is all a kind of a training time issue. Mm-hmm. Cyborg is doing some massive lifting. He's really proud of himself because he's been able to improve his human aspect as well, and not just his robot parts, which I thought was a really interesting kind of wrinkle to his character. We get Starfire versus Donna, which is a nice little fight. And then we get Changeling versus Tara. And they're fucking going at it. And Tara almost kills Beast Boy. And they're like, whoa, calm down, Tara. What's going on? And later when Tara's kind of reporting back to Deathstroke, Slade is like, man, you fucked up. You shouldn't have lost it like that. But it's a good thing the Teen Titans are stupid because they didn't get it. And it's okay. So let's go kill them starting now. And they roll out. They're ready to fuck up some Titans. And there's also a dude named Wintergreen with them, who I guess we learn a little bit more about him later. Did we know Wintergreen before this, Chris?
I think he had shown up with Deathstroke. He's like his Alfred type guy. Although there's kind of some weird vibes with Wintergreen that I don't really think is there with Alfred. But yeah, and we also didn't mention Raven. I think it's this issue, talks to Tara, and she's like, hey, Raven, how come you don't like me? It's like, well, because you seem really evil, and that's basically why.
Yeah, and she's like, and listen, I don't have any conclusive proof, so I'm not going to say anything to the other Titans, because that's not who I am, but I'm pretty sure you're evil.
Yeah.
Which, seems like, don't bring it up unless you're pretty sure,
Yeah. It's like, she's an empath. It's not her job to, to manage your emotions. You can just feel your emotions.
Yeah. So they get ready to attack, but before this issue ends, good news, we got a dude in the shadows, a dude and a dudette in the shadows, and they're watching Slade on the TVs, on the cameras, and they're like, he's messing up already. All right, we're gonna watch him. Okay, who are this dude and dudette? We'll see.
Mm-hmm. They have not been introduced. This is their first appearances.
Okay, cool. So the next issue, Terminator, right off the bat, is attacking Dick Grayson at home. And Dick's like, what? How does he know who I am? What is this? He manages to get away, and he's Deathstroke is and stuff like, why is he the one he kill, even though he doesn't have powers? And I'm sitting here thinking, what? This is the first person. Why are you saying things like that? But Robin realizes this as well, and he's like, oh my god, has he killed the whole rest of the Titans? Am I the last one? What is this? So he starts going looking for everybody. Nobody's answering.
I like this time dilation of this.
Me too. I love it.
You don't usually see things non-linearly like this. Like, Dick is the last one, and then it's almost like a detective story where he's piecing together what happened to all the other Titans before he was attacked, which is really cool.
Loved this issue. Yeah, just the way it's all laid out, I thought it was really excellently done. He first goes to Starfire's place, and it's all a mess, and we see a little flashback of how she died, where there's a present from. She
didn't die. She got captured, right?
Right. But as far as we know, it seems like she's dead. It's like a present from Dick, and she was so happy to receive it. And it was a bomb, and Dick is finding the clues and the remnants while we're seeing all of it happen. It's really well done. At Donna's photo studio, I guess Donna Troy is a photographer. Okay.
Yep.
They switched her chemicals with sulfuric acid, so when she mixed them together, she passed out. He goes to Cyborg's place. Cyborg, this one's kind of the dumbest one, I thought, though. Cyborg sat in a chair that was rigged to trap him there and shoot electric currents into him.
The chair is just sitting in the middle of the room, though. It's in the middle of the kitchen. It's not at the table. It's not like anywhere else. It's in the like. It looked like he just like popped a squat in the middle of the kitchen to read the newspaper and then got trapped.
It's my thinking chair. That's where I sit to think and read the newspaper.
Look, Vince, I know you are a married man and all, but not all of us have, big old dining room tables. We're not, we're not millionaires.
I feel like there was a dining room table behind him. I have to look through this scene now because I feel like there was a table.
There absolutely is a table. It's 5 feet away. It's weird.
No, he's a single guy. He doesn't have a dining room table. He just has a chair.
Well, maybe he needs a woman's touch to teach him how to properly angle his chairs in his apartment.
So he absolutely has a table.
That's more of a desk.
I mean, when I was young and single, I did have a TV stand made out of cardboard boxes. So, and every girl that came over was like, "This is atrocious," and I'm like, "It's functional." I love my wife. She put up with a lot of bullshit.
If there's anything that women love, it's functionality.
German efficiency.
Yeah. When the Swedish do it, you love it.
Whoa! Right. That would be like the most inceliest thing to say, wouldn't it? The Germans do it, and it's amazing. They have such good ideas. Ugh.
Yeah, so that's why I said Swedish. Then Dick, as he's leaving one of these scenes, he's confronted by our mystery man and woman who are like, "Yep, the other Titans are captured," and he's like, "I don't believe it, and I don't trust you." And she's like, "Okay, well, I'll meet you at the next one."
They do at some point. This is Joseph, and I'm his mother. I'm like, "Oh, okay." I don't know who Joseph is, and I don't know why I should care that you're his mom, but okay. Back to Titan's Tower, we see that Tara's like Earth stuff is all over the place, and Raven's not there either, and so Dick is like, "What? I guess there must have been a fight, and Raven and Tara must have tried defending themselves." And Joseph and his mother show up again. They say, "Nope, actually, Tara is evil, and she's the one who captured Raven." And Dick's like, "What? I don't believe you. What is this?" And then we also get, this is maybe my favorite thing. We see, I don't remember how we get to this, but we see how Beast Boy got captured, which is that he was sending autographed pictures of himself to all of his fans. And it's basically just that episode of Seinfeld where George's fiance dies. And I realized that this was so far ahead of Seinfeld, and I'm wondering if this is where Seinfeld got the idea, because as as Changeling is licking these envelopes, there's poison on the envelopes, and he passes out.
A 35-year-old Larry David is like, "This is a good idea."
Yeah, I'm going to use it. It's pretty hilarious, and I love that this is here. I was so happy to see this. So then we get a little bit of a reveal from Joseph.
Although I guess to be fair, this is probably more of a Seinfeld idea if it's from a comic book.
That's
true. Hey, do you want to know how he got captured in the movie?
Sure. How did he get captured in the movie?
Okay. While attending a convention to do a podcast with filmmaker Kevin Smith, Beast Boy is captured by Deathstroke.
I saw Kevin Smith had a credit in that, and I was like, "What?
Like how?"
He was doing a podcast with Kevin Smith and somehow got captured.
He started doing an ad read for MeUndies, and then Beast Boy fell asleep, and then he was captured.
So now, can I tell you, this makes Deathstroke's line at the beginning makes so much more sense, because Deathstroke says, "Oh, why is Robin the hardest one to capture?" Well, maybe because you came up with clever ways to secretly capture all the other ones instead of just busting through the window and saying, "Hi, Robin, I'm going to fight you now." That's why you gave him a chance to run. Of course he
poisoned every single one of them like it was a Hitman level, and then just got bored and decided to aggro it at the end.
And he said, "What is this guy's? It's not working."
Yep. Got to reload and dress as a maintenance man and cause his elevator to collapse or something.
Oh, that's what you got. Dude, this would be an amazing Hitman level. This would be dope. Just one like
superhero hit.
Yeah, because Hitman is like episodic now. Key, I don't know if you've seen it.
I have. I've been meaning to play one of them. I've got that first one.
I I have
they're
no patience.
really good.
I have no patience for it, but
They're
yeah,
really good, Vince.
I love those. I got to get that new Monster Hunter World expansion as well. I've had no time for video games over this summer though. It's been pretty terrible. That's okay though. Don't worry. Don't worry. I'll play video games again soon, fans.
Teen Titans Hitman. I'm on board with that one. That's a good tie-in.
Has there ever been a Teen Titans video game?
I don't think so. They kind of peaked in the 80s, so that wouldn't have been the time for it.
They had that anime on Cartoon Network, right around the time that there was that Marvel Ultimate Alliance ripoff for DC. But I don't know if they were in it.
Yeah, I feel like that's a good idea. DC, we're gonna give you our idea, and if you use it, you can just give us some royalties. But make a Teen Titans video game. Cool. Great.
Just straight up, just make a Teen Titans video game.
On the record.
That's our great pitch. Just make it.
Just make it. Okay, so we get a little bit of a bombshell from Joseph's mom. She says, "Listen, I know what's going on because I'm Slade's ex-wife." What? This lady used to be married to Deathstroke? This is crazy. And then Deathstroke goes to Hive headquarters, which Hive stands for, this is the best acronym of all time, the Hierarchy for International Vengeance and Extermination. Great. And Hive are the ones who put out this hit on the Teen Titans that was originally for the Ravager, Grant, Deathstroke's son, but when he died, Deathstroke picked up the contract and says, "I'm going to do it. Contract is done. Titans are yours. Here you go."
Yeah. And then we also have Robin. He's like, "What's this guy's problem? He's giving me the evil eye over here. Why don't you say something, Joseph?" And Joseph just looks sad and he's like, "He can't for long reasons we'll explain."
Yeah, he can't. And we find out in the next issue that Joseph is a mute. What? And this issue is mainly flashback from Slade's ex-wife, who is named Adeline. I don't know, but it's a big old army story. Go ahead, Vince.
This book is it's got my exact same notes I had for Crisis, which was Wolfman and Perez also. It's like, hey, do you remember that story you were paying attention to with the Teen Titans being captured? How about we don't tell that story, and how about we tell the story of Slade's entire background, just for fun?
I was into it though.
I'm absolutely into this, and that's the thing is unlike Crisis, I like these. Yeah. Unlike Crisis, I like these deviations and meanderings. This works for me on a way that Crisis didn't.
Well, because this feels more purposeful and just more purposeful, whereas Crisis was super meandering.
We actually care about the main story here. We want Robin or Dick or whatever he's calling himself this week to save the Titans. And so the idea is that this is sort of suspense, and we're getting a different story. If we had bought this monthly, we'd be like, "What's going to happen to the Titans? Are they okay?" And then 30 days later, it's like I have no new information about whether they're okay.
But I do get a lot of payoff from this issue. I also was military stuff, but it kind of softened the blow at the beginning because while she's introducing the backstory that took place in the military, she says this was before the Vietnam War, when it was kind of okay to be in the military and defend the country before it's all questionable now. I'm like, okay, all right, I'm into this.
I also like how Dick is wait a minute, Slade's got superpowers. He's more than just a well-trained soldier. And she's like, just hold up, dipshit. I'm getting there.
We're gonna talk about it. She trained him in the army. They met and fell in love. It's pretty nice, and he was always a really excellent soldier. They had two kids, first Grant and then this other kid, Joseph. He had some major injury with some chemicals or something involved.
He did experiments for truth serum resistance. That's how he got his powers. That's how he got his powers.
There it is. And
why would you? I want to pause on that one though.
Yeah,
he's one of your best soldiers in the entire army or military, whatever. And they're like, this is the one we're going to experiment on our truth serums with. It just doesn't seem like I wouldn't use that good resource. And truth serum resistance doesn't seem like a big deal. Doesn't seem like it ever was his problem.
But I mean, I don't know. I think you're that might be the cover story, but it says, adrocortical hormone or whatever. I mean, they're trying to stimulate him into being a super soldier, is what I read that into.
Oh, that was like, okay, I do have some friends in the military who were like told to look away when they injected them with stuff. So that's like one of these situations. Okay.
Yeah, that's what I think. And they're saying, oh, this is truth serum resistant, but it's like, actually, we're trying to make you into a Captain America guy.
Okay. Okay.
But he was like already a super soldier. They still should have tried it on like weaklings.
Yeah, he's more of a hawk guy, and they're like, not good enough. Okay. We don't want Jeremy Renner out here. We want Captain America or nothing.
Yeah. Let's improve.
So he's like maybe like third or fourth level. Like this is our top of the top, and we're gonna make him even better. Okay, this checks out now.
Yeah,
that was the cover story. Okay, good note, Chris. Good job.
So this chemical does some weird things to him, where he kind of goes back and forth between being like almost superhuman strength and comatose, and he's like the army can't handle him anymore, so they discharge him, and it's terrible for him. He's like super sad, and he becomes a hunter. And he really enjoys that. He's found himself. The older son Grant really takes to the guns and stuff, and enjoys doing that stuff with his dad. But the younger son Joseph, he's like an artsy little kid. He likes music. He's an amazing singer, and the dad's like into that too. They're hosting like all these fancy functions for rich people and everything, hanging out. It's a good time until some assassins come after him. And, Adeline, she does what she can. She's an army lady, too, and she's, like, killing a bunch of people, but still smoke gas overtakes, and they take their son, Joseph. There's, like, a little hostage situation going on. They're like, Slade, give us the information. He says, no, I'm not going to. Yeah.
And he also reveals to his wife, he's like, I haven't just been a big game hunter. When I leave for, like, weeks at a time, I'm a professional assassin.
Yeah, my name is Deathstroke the Terminator, and so Deathstroke takes a little gamble, and he says, no, I'll fucking kill you, I'm not going to tell you shit. But they cut Joseph's throat, and he doesn't die, but he does lose his voice. His beautiful singing voice. That sounded simultaneous to me, Vince. I hope it was simultaneous.
I hope it recorded that way.
Yeah. I wish we would have seen some examples of his beautiful singing voice. Like I know we were told that he has a beautiful singing voice. That's like the only thing I wish we had seen.
Maybe he doesn't have one, and his mother just thinks that.
Yeah. She's just a good mom.
That's so much more accurate.
I mean, he's like 7 at this point, so like, how do you know?
I mean, if he hadn't lost his voice, puberty would have fucked it up anyway.
Exactly.
He's no Billy Gilman.
Yeah, so Adeline is like, wow, that was a real risk you took with our son. And he's like, it was worth it. Like, it worked out, didn't it? He's alive. And she then pulls a gun on him and would have shot him in the back of the head, killing him. But with his superhuman reflexes, he managed to, like, move so that it didn't kill him. It just shot his eye out.
I think that's why he wears an eye patch.
This is really cool though, because his classic art design only has like one eye showing, and then the other half of his his right side of his mask is black, so you can't see his eye. But in the scenes before this, in his Deathstroke costume, he does have 2 eyes, which is really cool. Mm-hmm. That I like that they added that in his flashback. I'm guessing this is where this was revealed, how he lost his eye after being around for 40 something issues or more.
Yep.
Cool. Yeah. Yeah, good stuff. So that's when. And also she says, "Oh, by the way, that other son of mine was the Ravager, and you guys killed him, but you didn't know it was him. No hard feelings." And then Dick says, "Okay, well, time to go save my Titans. This is a good time to figure out my new name and my new superhero persona." And we get a nice little thing saying, "I'm going to honor everybody important to me." Blah blah blah. And I'm going to be Nightwing. And then on the other half of the same page, it says, and Joseph has powers too, and he's Jericho. And I'm like, wait, what?
And his costume is outrageous.
I love it. I think it looks great. It's like, just like just very nice. He just looks like such a nice boy. He can't talk, but he's a nice, sweet boy. And his power, we get an example of his powers, is that he can jump into people's bodies, like by making eye contact with them.
Mm-hmm.
and like take over their bodies and voice and all that sort of stuff. Yeah, and so on to the next issue where they decide to take over. Not take over. Take back the Titans. They infiltrate Hive. Well, we kind of start off at Hive. All the Titans are there, and they're like, "Oh, let us have blah blah." Tara reveals herself as a traitor to them, and especially Beast Boy is real shook up by this. They're like, "Oh, come on, you gotta break the spell that Deathstroke has over you. You can do it." And she's like, "Man, you idiot! I was never into you."
Yeah, and she's also smoking a cigarette to show she's evil.
Yeah, and they're like, "Why are you talking like this? What's going on?" Jericho. Adeline gets in there and confronts Wintergreen at some point. And like we didn't really talk about it. Wintergreen was like a higher ranking person in the military. I don't remember what rank. And at some point, as Deathstroke, Slade saves Wintergreen, so Wintergreen is like in his debt and has kind of become like a manservant kind of thing.
He's like his best man.
Yeah, yeah. They're bros forever, bros for life. You saved my life, and so I'm yours. Jericho takes over one of the guards, and this is kind of where we learned that he can speak as one of the guards. There's a nice little moment where they kind of heavily describe the whole process of him taking over the guard and blah, 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 and like all that. And then the caption at the end of all it says, "All this has taken place in the span of 1 second," which had such a Stan Lee feel to me that it stuck out for me. We get so they're like breaking in, getting all ready, and Tara catches Nightwing and Jericho, and they brings them to the main Hive people and says, "Hey, I got these other two, hooray!" And Slade.
It's a fun little fight scene, but yeah, Tara wins.
Slade doesn't like that, and he recognizes his son. And he's like, "What? Wait a minute. What's going on? My son that I'm sad about." And Jericho takes over Slade's body and shoots a bunch of stuff. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Well, and Tara is like, "Hey, I recognize this blonde guy now. He looks like the little kid in those pictures you're always looking at sadly. Because you're a baby who has emotions."
Baby. Loser.
He's probably older than her.
Yes. Yeah. Or about the same age, maybe. I don't know.
Well, that guy becomes a Teen Titan, spoiler alert, so they're probably teenagers. So about the same age. Jericho, as Slade, like inside of Slade's body, attacks Tara, and then Tara's like, "What the fuck? Why are you attacking me?" Because she doesn't know that Jericho's in there. And the Titans are free. There's a big old fight. The stakes are very high. I think of all the issues of maybe even the entire any comic that we've read on this show, this was the most engaged I had been during a fight sequence, just because I felt like the stakes were sufficiently high. I really had no idea what was going to happen, and really believed that Tara was a psycho who would be willing to kill anybody, doesn't care about anything, and just was murder happy. And I don't know, I was into it. I thought it was really well told. Beast Boy turned into an elephant and tries to save her at one point because he's still into her and thinking she's been brainwashed. There was just a lot of really memorable set pieces and moments and character motivations going on around here, that it didn't just feel, it felt like a natural kind of way to tell the story rather than just a fight to kind of get me to the next scene. And I was really into it. I don't know if you guys felt the same way. I really enjoyed this fight sequence. No? Just me?
Okay. No, I thought it was good. I don't know where Vince went. Vince, are you still there?
Yeah, I'm still here.
Okay.
I mean, I thought it was all right, but this is not usually my jam for these final fights. But I'm also I'm just oh, cool. I'm happy that we picked a good story that we because we don't usually go out of our way to read Teen Titans books. I mean, yeah. So I'm happy that we found a book that I'm this is really enjoyable. But I really like the previous two issues a lot more.
Okay, that's fair. I mean,
this has been a strong arc though. This was a really strong arc.
Yeah. And Perez is so good. You can really tell he's the co-writer for this. like the layouts for the fight, I think he does a better than average job of like there's just cool shit happening all the time. You know, like Terra like is like launching things around with her earth powers, and then Beast Boy or Changeling turning into an elephant to appear underneath of her to help her, and then she immediately turns on him. Like it's just very dynamic. Like there's not a lot of mid shots of people like running up to each other and punching. Like it's all creative stuff going on, so that's cool.
Yeah, doesn't have that thing that a lot of big team book action sequences do, which is where everybody describes their own powers and like calls out other people and says, "Hey, now you do your thing," and we'll kind of take turns, and it'll be great. Overall, I just thought it was really great. The whole fight sequence ends when somebody throws like a rock into her eye and her camera gets broken, and so she goes super berserk, just like absolutely wild. Stuff's flying everywhere, and it ends with her dying, basically just burying herself under a bunch of rubble. And so that was the end of Terra, the end of our Judas contract.
Yeah, she's lucky Raven didn't die, because she gets like a brick like thrown directly at her face, and like Raven doesn't have like physical powers. That would really hurt. She's knocked out, but she's fine. It's just Terra who they find her corpse, and they're like, well, I guess that's that.
They have a little funeral for her, and they don't tell her siblings. Her brother was a superhero. I forget his name. Geostorm?
Geoforce, I think. But yeah, he's in Batman and the Outsiders.
Okay. Never heard of this guy, and will probably never read a Geoforce comic. Although that sounds... God, Geoforce sounds like such a 90s cartoon, like Exo Squad, Geoforce, Big Bad Beetleborgs. No, and I think that's pretty much it for this comic. Yeah. Was there anything else that you wanted to mention? Sorry, Chris, what were you going to say?
They don't tell Geoforce or Geostorm or whatever his name is that his half-sister was a psychopath who turned on them. They're like, yep, she just died. It's real sad. And he's like, well, I'm glad she found some friends, because she seemed kind of angry, but what do I know?
Yeah, what do you know, idiot? You didn't even know she was evil. Vince, any other insight from the movie that we did?
Not really. I mean, the movie just had like a different team and different ways everybody was captured. It was interesting because they basically just took the spine of Deathstroke and Terra betraying the team. I like the idea, though, just in general, of and I've said this for 15 years, so I'm surprised I never read this, was like, why doesn't a villain just pretend to be a hero and then learn everybody's identities and then betray them? And Thunderbolts gets a little close to that, but in a different way. But yeah, absolutely. If I'm just a villain, like, I'll just pretend to be, and then I'll be a hero for a year, and then, then I'll know everybody's identities, and then I'll murder everybody. It's perfect.
Yeah, it's like wow, Vince really helped us against the Wrecking Crew,
right?
This team that we've beaten a million times.
Let's tell him all of our secrets, which makes more sense than Spider-Man didn't tell fucking anybody his secret identity. Maybe he did. I don't know. I know the Ultimate Universe.
Daredevil figured it out. He told Black Cat.
Black Cat was his girlfriend, though, so like that's legit.
Yeah, I guess she didn't want to know.
Nobody's seeking out his identity.
I have good Spider-Man news. I'm gonna watch Far From Home soon.
Oh, cool!
Oh, that is exciting.
It's breaking news.
Don't spoil anything. That Mysterio, great guy. Nothing wrong with him.
Nothing wrong with him at all.
Definitely not a master of deception.
Is he in the movie? Okay, great. Let's move on.
I do want to give my panel of the week, which was we skipped over. It was when bad guys attacked Slade's house, and his wife threw a book and broke a dude's neck. That's my panel of the week. It's pretty awesome.
I didn't really have a panel of the week. Did I don't know. No, I liked George Perez's art throughout this whole thing. but there wasn't anything that like stuck out to me. It was just like nice, and I appreciated it, but it never like made itself super flashy. Does that make sense?
I do.
I don't know.
I get that.
My panel of the week is Beast Boy as an elephant. Great.
Yeah, my panel of the week is when Beast Boy is either a dog or a beaver and is shoveling snow in Tara's face to humiliate her, which is why she tries to kill him. And it's like, nah, that's fair.
Oh, I also liked him as a snake. We didn't mention this during their big fight sequence, the training thing. Like earlier in the issue, she said something like, "Oh, I'd rather kiss a snake," and he's like, "I can make that happen, no problem." And so he turns into a snake during their fight sequence, and he's like wrapped all around her, and he's like, "All right, give me a kiss, I'll let you go." I thought that was, it's just a nice callback, a nice kind of story moment of making everything fit together a little bit. It was really, really well done. But I think we're about done for Teen Titans. Anything else to say about it?
No, I'm pleased with it though.
Yeah, quite pleased. Quite pleased.
Yeah, I liked it all right. I do wish Tara was a little bit more of an interesting character, because this isn't really her story for like being the traitor. Like, she's just kind of like kill crazy. So like it
checks out.
They kind of try to make Deathstroke the like sympathetic guy, where it's just like, you don't understand, he has a family, blah blah. But at the same time, it's like, yeah, he's obviously the bad guy, and you're not supposed to like him. But he gets a lot more screen time than Tara. Kind of weird, because she's the one that is like not going to be in the comic, so you think she'd get some kind of send off.
Yeah, at a certain point, I almost thought that the Titans and Deathstroke would like team up. They made him almost a little too sympathetic, if that makes sense. That's not a fair complaint. I thought they did a great job of making him just like a good villain with proper motivation. Great. Should we move on to All-Star Superman? Oh, I forgot to announce it at the beginning of the show. By the way, after we're done talking about Teen Titans, we're going to read All-Star Superman number 9. Great. All right, are we done with Teen Titans? Cool. Ready to talk about All-Star Superman 9? Great. So we just finished those last 2 issues where Superman was off planet. He was at the Bizarro planet, and he's back. He's been gone for 2 months. And so Kryptonians have replaced him. We got Bar-El and Lilo. And every time I try to say their names out loud, yeah, I would think of Lilo and Stitch. But then when I see them written out, I think of Barrio. Like these are 2 Kryptonians from the Barrio who are be like authentic Kryptonians. Like, nah, it's not Superman poser. He's just been. What's that?
For us by Kryptonians.
Fubu? Yeah. No, Fubu. They were astronauts from Krypton who have just kind of been drifting around for a while. And they're fucking assholes. They're the worst. Oh, they're terrible people. They take over Superman's Fortress of Solitude because he just left the key lying around, which was,
That's a great...
It's a callback to an earlier... Yeah, because he would just, like, nobody else is powerful enough to lift the key. Why not? But, like, at the same time, at least hide it, man. Like, come on.
Why, though? He's the last son of Krypton. How did he expect these legends from, like, his like... Because they were lost for decades. They're like legendary.
But there's other
heroes.
Planets. There's other supers.
I guess
right?
there are. I guess that's true. He fights them every issue, so yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. Come on, Superman. Should have seen this coming. They're also pissed at Superman for being so soft and like a little pansy, and he's like the son of a scientist, and he's bought into all this like earthling human business, and they're like, what are you doing? You could have taken over this planet and built a new Krypton. What is this shit?
Yeah.
And they beat him up, and they throw him into the moon, and it cracks. And he's like, what? You just cracked the moon? And they're like, don't worry, we'll fix it. And they just take a bunch of bridges from Earth, and they stitch it up.
It's awesome. That's the Morrison shit I'm here for. I like this.
That's my panel of the week. Stitching up the moon with bridges.
With the Golden Gate Bridge.
The Golden Gate Bridge.
That's dumb. It's profoundly dumb. I like it, though.
Yeah. But I also really love this next scene where, like, for whatever reason, Superman is just back to being Clark Kent at the office, and, like, everyone's ribbing him, and Lilo and Stitch show up, and they're like, "Oh, Superman, what are you doing? Just slumming it with the humans? This is BS." And there's that. What was that guy's name? He's like the kind of show guy from the Bizarro issues who thinks he's hot shit. And he's like, "Hey man, I know I'm all tough, but you got the wrong guy. I ain't Superman." And he's all into it. And Clark is just classic. "Oh boy, I got feeling faint. I gotta go lie down. Good Jimmy, why don't you call Superman?" It's I just look. We've talked about it so many times, but I love this representation of Clark. It's so perfect.
Yeah, I like this issue a lot. For one of my problems that I've had, and I've expressed this with this book, is it tends to just focus on like one aspect of Superman per issue, and doesn't allow if you like Lois or you like his Clark Kent, that may not be in that particular issue. But I feel like this issue serviced a lot of Superman. It had some Superman stuff. It had Krypton stuff. It had the Daily Planet. It had Perry White. It had Jimmy Olsen. It had Clark Kent. I think it had Leo Quinton, but I could be wrong. I may be thinking of another. But like, it had a lot of his supporting cast in here, and it jumped around a lot more than previous issues. So I was really enjoying that aspect of it.
Yeah, it was a good one. So at this point they like confront Superman, and Lilo and Stitch feel faint. We call them Lilo and Stitch. Lilo and
yes.
Lilo from the L family, so he actually is related to Clark.
Yeah. Both feel faint and like are passing out. And Superman says it's probably like as you were an astronaut, like passing through some radiation. I think it might have poisoned your blood. Might be some like kryptonium in your blood, maybe. I don't know. And he kind of does what he can to save them. Ends up having to send them to the Phantom Zone. And he's like, "All right, I'll bring y'all back whenever I can." But they're actually like also thankful at the same time and not being total dicks about it. They're like, "Hey, glad we met you. You're a good son of Krypton, I guess." And Superman's like, "All right, finally the Phantom Zone's going to have some law and order. That's good. Like, they're going to kind of take over. I'm guessing maybe something's going to happen there. We'll see." That's kind of it. Nice little issue. Had some sentimentality to it as well, which I didn't expect. So, yeah. Was there anything I missed in that?
Yeah, no, I mean, so my two thoughts are that I think it ends very abruptly with them being, like, super powered and then not. Like, I feel like there's a scene missing there. It
felt very Deus Ex Machina-y. Yeah.
Right.
Oh, by the way, something happened and we lost our power.
I mean, there's a Batman arc in the Rebirth. I think it's the first arc where there's these two new superheroes on the scene that are like really awesome, but really they're like destroying themselves to become super awesome superheroes, or like taking away their lives. It's written by Tom King, and that's like 6 issues, and it feels like pretty much has the exact same kind of like arc and crescendo, and then them realizing they're gonna die soon. And that just gave a little more time to breathe than these issues, which, man, they spend like 7 or 8 pages on the first scene of him just meeting those heroes, in a 24-page comic. Like this book burns through pages and burns through plot real quickly. But I think this is one of the better issues of this book. I was really pleased with this issue.
Yeah, it's a really good one.
And then,
Chris, you got anything? Oh, sorry, you had another thing.
And then my other thought was, this reminds me of one of the episodes of Lois and Clark. I used to always watch that show, but I watched it inconsistently. So there was a two-parter where some Kryptonians showed up, and they were huge dicks. They were awesome assholes. And so I've always known, like, whenever other Kryptonians show up, they're gonna be assholes. They're just gonna be like, because you're like, wait, y'all are all from the same planet. Superman's awesome. Why is not everybody else awesome? I'm like, oh, okay. So this is like follows very much Lois and Clark, but it had a two-parter. Where they revealed themselves to be dicks, and then that was the to be continued, and I never saw the other episode, so I don't know what happened.
Well, now you know. This is what happened. They get to the Phantom Zone.
Grant Morrison loves his Lois and Clark.
Yeah, I'm sure that's what he's basing it on.
When we run out of comics to read, we should do Some of My Friends Watch Lois and Clark.
What a show. I did love that show. I love that show.
I watched a lot of that show too. It was a good time.
Dean Cain is my Superman. It's really bad.
Dean Cain really did make such a perfect Superman. He's just like perfectly like large and muscular, but doughy at the same time. Yeah. Like, I don't know how it's possible. It looks exactly like Frank Quitely draws him, and it's excellent. Dean Cain, we love you. We miss you.
He's making a bunch of dog movies on Hallmark.
This is an
he's
official
fine.
invitation to Dean Cain. If you listen to this.
Yeah, he's trapped in the Phantom Zone, and some sort of doppelganger has taken over his life.
On the show, we invite you. We'll read any Superman comic you would like. Just get in touch with us. Email, Facebook.
Sure. Tom Welling, like 30-year-old high school student Tom Welling is my Superman.
Great.
You're gonna watch a bad Superman show. That's the one to watch.
Tom Welling. Oh boy. All right. So
I don't think I said my opinion about this book, but I didn't have a ton to add. I really liked it. I like that Superman is, it's not treading new ground, but when the scientist or when the Kryptonian is like, "You'd still help me even after I was a huge dick to you for no reason," and he's like, "Yes."
it's a nice moment. All right. So what are we doing next time? Next time, we're coming up on, I think, one of the most important holidays in the United States. We're coming up on Canadian Thanksgiving, which is an important time for us all. And we're going to celebrate by talking about the Canadian super team, the only Canadian super team that I know of. Maybe there's more, but I'm talking about Alpha Flight. They made their debut in Uncanny X-Men number 120. We're going to read that issue. And then we're going to read the first 4 issues of Alpha Flight from, what year? It's going to be volume 1. That was...
It's like 83, 84, around there.
Yeah, 83, 84, somewhere around there. So we're going to read Uncanny 120, Alpha Flight 1 through 4. We're going to learn about Canadians. We're going to learn about the history of Canada. I'm pretty sure that's all they talk about in these issues, right? The history of Canada. I can't wait.
It's a parable for the first Canadian Thanksgiving.
Wonderful.
I have no idea if that's accurate. I don't think it would be. What if it was?
Yeah, we really know what story is going on around this time for Alpha Flight. If it's like a long arc or whatever, we imagine it's probably a lot of one and done kind of stories. So 4 issues is probably okay. But if I get to 4 and I'm like, well, the next one's gonna finish this thing off, I might read 5. We'll see. So 4 issues with an option for more.
Plus Uncanny 120, and plus, I think it looks like they might be on the cover of Uncanny 121, but we'll see whether or not we want to deal with it.
Right. And I felt terrible after the last episode. I don't know if you guys felt terrible, but we forgot to decide on an over-under for this issue.
Oh, yeah.
Do we need to figure one out? What's our over-under for Alpha Flight?
I was looking at different Alpha Flight comics, and there was What If 134 or What If 34, and it was what if the Alpha Flight talked like stereotypical Canadians on American TV, and they just all said A a lot. So I want to how many times A is said? EH.
The A. No, should we open this up to like other Canadian stereotypes? Like if something is spelled like a boot, would that also? I feel like that should also warrant.
That was absolutely of this era. I don't know if that was a Claremont thing or also Byrne of how many times they'll like put on a Canadian accent, like or attempt something like that in the
attempt to spell out an accent.
Yeah, I was gonna say not so much a Canadian accent, but yeah, any accent.
Yeah.
That's how Colossus talks.
When Jericho took over that Hive member, he's like, "Oh, you're just noticing the way I'm talking to you now."
He had a bit of a weird accent. Yeah, he was like, "Oh, that's how Jericho sounds." He looks like such a sweet boy, but he was like, "Hey, man." In my mind, he was like a bit of a Californian surfer dude kind of dude. He was like, "Hey, man, I'm just like chilling inside this dude's body. This is how I talk now. Cool. Yeah. I'm gonna flash you this J symbol whenever I'm inside somebody. Cool." It never happened again. I was looking out for it. He was like, "Yeah, man, I'll just flash you this J."
Yeah, it is funny though. Like he is able to jump into the body of someone wearing goggles, and also Deathstroke, who's only has one eye. So like his eye contact powers are very strong, where he's like can really get people to look him in the eye a lot better than if he was trying to do that on me, no way. I'd be looking at that guy's pants situation and laughing at him because he's wearing some weird gladiator outfit.
Chris, that's true, but I'm going to have to ask the jury to disregard that and for it to be stricken from the record because we are past talking about Teen Titans. I'm sorry. You missed it. So, stricken from the record.
Too late.
Too bad. Jericho is found not guilty in the crime of using his powers inappropriately.
Yes. So what can count Canadian slang or Canadianisms?
So over under on Canadianisms. Let's just say that. Shit! Now we got to pick a number.
I'm gonna go with 10.
The hard part is we'll never know if people are mispronouncing again because I don't know how you could italicize the I.
Agay.
I feel like Claremont's gonna go hog wild.
Chris Claremont loves that kind of stuff. I'm
going 10.
I'm gonna go bigger. I'm gonna go 30. No, that's too many. I'm gonna go 20.
I'll say 3.
3?
Yes.
This sucker right here just said 3.
What's all that about? I apologize to our Canadian listeners. Please don't stop listening to us.
I am so thankful for all of our Canadian listeners. Thank you, Canada. I love you. That was my heartfelt.
I blame Canada.
All right.
For most of our listenership. Oh, thank you guys. We love y'all.
Chris, what's going on with Your Stupid Minds? Is that last episode you mentioned? Is that aired yet?
I forget. What episode did I mention last time?
I can't remember.
It was something special. They're all special. They're all special.
They are going back to our roots. They're all very special. We should have an episode about a Melanie Griffith and Ed Harris. Ed Harris, right? That's the guy from Apollo 13.
And National Treasure 2.
Yes.
And I believe Jackson Pollock played him in a movie.
Yes. It's the movie's Milk Money. She's a prostitute by choice.
Oh, yeah.
It is a bizarre Hollywood movie involving children buying the services of a prostitute, and then the prostitute falls in love with one of their dads. A story as old as time.
I feel like I watched this movie maybe with my parents, and I don't understand why.
It was attached to kids' movies on the trailers. It was like on the Sandlot. It was like on the Sandlot video cassette.
Yeah, is that what it was? I remember it being on a VHS.
It might be on a Ninja Turtles tape for all I fucking know, because I saw that trailer a lot. But also, Curly Sue is conflated in my head with Milk Money. They're mixed.
I remember seeing that trailer for a children's movie and be like, "This is inappropriate. What is this?" I'm never seeing the movie, but now I have, and I'm here to tell you.
I can imagine. If you want to learn more about that, listen to Chris's other podcast, Your Stupid Minds. I think we're pretty much done here. We got anything else we got to talk about? I don't think so. I think we're okay. Canadians, we love you. Regular, boring, non-Canadian listeners, we also love you. You're not that boring. You're okay. Vince, I love you.
I love you too.
Chris, I love you. Oh, nobody ever says they love me. That's so nice. Listeners, I hope you're all shouting at the top of your lungs that you also love me at this moment in time, wherever you might be. I trust that you are. If you're not, fuck you. See you next time, everybody. Bye.